Yo, here we go. Week 8 NFL player props. I'm Dave Lockren. Laffy_D on Twitter. Hit your boy up. And as always, help me feed the algo. If this video has helped you at all over the course of the season, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below. What are your favorite props for this week? And as always, you ever want to join me over in Tails in the premium Discord, 50% off NFL 24 promo code. Get you first week for less than $5, first month for less than $15. And I'll tell you what, we'll recap last week. Could have gone better, right? We hit Addison on the standard prop, and the Metcalf had a good game, but couldn't get us there on receptions despite the matchup. And J.K. Dobbins, that was the biggest disappointment of the week. But you know what? That's why we don't overextend ourselves each week. We don't go crazy. What we're trying to do is stay afloat until we hit those big ones. And you know what? Week 2, we hit a round robin, 5-team round robin, and on the parlay, we played it by 2s, 3s, 4s with the 5-leg parlay, bet them all singles. That win was big enough to literally sustain us throughout the season if we're smart. We've hit the George Pickens ladder at 11-1 or 10-1 for 110 yards, and a whole lot of other big ladder plays we've hit along the way here and in the Discord. So you know what? We're going to stay doing what we do, stick with it, and eventually, because look, when we hit them, it just makes up for everything. Anyway, come hit me up. Say what's up in the Discord as well. Link in the description and the pinned comment. Otherwise, hang out here each and every week, one way or another. Happy to have you with me. Let's start it off with a simple one. We'll go Josh Jacobs over 15.5 receiving yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. I like this too because it's well below the number on Pinnacle. Standard play, maybe we go with a small 2-rung ladder here. I'll get to that in a second, but I like this spot. So Jacob has cleared this number, and I don't like to usually use this as like, well, you got to bet it because he's done it this many times because there's too many variables, but hear me out. He's done it in 5 of 7 games. The only 2 games he didn't do it were the ones where Jordan Love was out. Every game that Jordan Love has played, you've had him clear this number, this 15.5 receiving. But he also faces a Jaguars team, a Jaguars defense that is hemorrhaged production to opposing running backs in the passing game. Get this. So far this season, Jacksonville is allowing 6.7 receptions and 58 receiving yards per game to opposing running backs, both of which are a league worst mark among all 32 teams. This should be a competitive game too. This opened at 5, 4.5, 5. I've seen it go as low as 3.5, sitting around 4 right now. Even though the tickets and a lot of money are on Green Bay, guess what? The line is moving towards Jacksonville, so I like it to be a competitive spot. I don't think they just run the ball down Jacksonville's throat. And a matter of fact, where you beat them is in the passing game. Their ground defense actually hasn't been this bad. Here's one other thing. If you wanted to, this is why I say the little 25-plus yard ladder. We hit this on DeAndre Swift the other week. Matter of fact, we hit him at 16.5, which ended up moving up to 21.5 before lock. 16.5, 25.5, and 40 plus. Sorry, 25 plus and 40 plus. We hit the 40 plus, but then 5 minutes later, they decided it was a backwards pass and not a forward. So it went down to 28. We still got the 25. Nice little day. But if you wanted to go Jacobs 25 plus 196 on FanDuel right now, I don't think that's bad at all. And here's why. Not only has he cleared that number in 2 of his last 4, which again is kind of whatever. We need more than that. What about the fact that the Jags have allowed 9 different running backs to go for 25 plus yards? Now consider this for a second. They've only faced 7 teams, right? They've only faced 7 teams. So that means there have been number of different teams that have had 2 guys in the same game go for 25 plus. And a matter of fact, the last 3 weeks, New England had 1, Chicago had 2 go for 25 plus, Indy had 2 go for 25 plus, Houston had 1, Buffalo had 2, Cleveland had none, Miami had 1. Just insane. So 6 over the last 3 games. Give me Jacobs 25 plus. We can sprinkle there at almost plus 200 odds. But I like that 15.5 over receiving at minus 114 on FanDuel. All right, next up, we have to go back to the well with J.K. Dobbins. I'm sorry, I got to do it. If you're not with me, that's okay. The greatest thing about this is you don't have to tail. He was a huge disappointment last week, but how do I not revisit this one? I mean, the Chargers are 7-point home favorites against the Saints, a Saints team that has been truly unthinkably bad against the run. They've allowed, ready for this, 502 rushing yards over the last 2 games. 502 rushing yards over the last 2 weeks. They're coughing up 5.6 yards per attempt to opposing running backs this year, which is equally insane. And I fully expect the Saints to do everything they can to stop the run, given that there isn't exactly a hyper effective passing game with Justin Herbert and these Chargers pass catchers. But wouldn't you have thought that was the plan last week against Bo Nix in Denver? And they gassed him for 225 yards on the ground. The biggest reason, though, that I like this is because the Saints haven't been able to tackle, right? Like, even they haven't been able to tackle. They're tied for the most 20-plus yard rushes allowed this season, and that's where Dobbins can really burn you like he did early in the year. Plus, Gus Edwards is on the IR, and over the last 2 games since Gus Edwards hit the IR, Dobbins has handled 65% of the team rushing attempts, but 78% of running back rushing attempts. So, yeah, you better believe it. I bet the standard number at 76.5, actually 74.5, but it's 76.5 now. And I laddered it to 100. Yes, I did, at plus 260 on Bet365 and 125 at plus 750 on Bet365. Shop the odds here. You're going to get way worse odds elsewhere. Like I saw plus 550 for 125. Don't do that. This is why I say, like, if we're going to bet these ladders, you better believe that if you're not getting the right odds, you're going to get cleaned out, right? Like if we bet one that's 10-1, but you're like, no, I only bet on one book, I'm going to bet it at 6-1, and you lose that most of the time. Guess what? $100 on that 10-1 nets you a $1,000 profit, where the other person finally wins it, gets 600, but they're still down. Always shop around. By the way, Bet365, if you're in any of those states, do yourself. We got another $60 in bonus bets yesterday just from betting Thursday Night Football. I think we have $280 in bonus bets over the last 4 or 5 weeks just from betting Thursday Night Football SGPs. And you get $200 in bonus bets. Sign up with the link in the description or the pinned comment. Deposit 10, bet 5. The moment that settles, you have 200 in bonus bets. Even if it's a live bet, the moment it settles, you have $200 in bonus bets. No one's doing it like Bet365 right now. So make sure if you're betting this one and you're not there and you're betting this J.K. Dobbins alt line and you're betting the ladder, do it where you're getting the best odds. And of course, a million different bonus bet options, which is Bet365 right now. 21 years or older to gamble. Gambling problem, call or text 100-GAMBLER. Otherwise, jump on that Dobbins play. And let's close it out with one more. Look, as I say, sometimes we like to get wild here. In the Discord, I'm throwing a ton of straight single plays, standard lines, but we also have fun. And we're going to have some fun with Javonte Williams, 2+ touchdowns at plus 550 on DraftKings. Let's get to work, okay? The Panthers, this is nuts. The Panthers have allowed 3 multi-touchdown scores, all running backs, right? 3 multi-touchdown running backs to score in 3 of the last 4 weeks. So what I'm saying is in 3 of the last 4 weeks, they've allowed 2 or more touchdowns from running backs in the same games, which is insane. Bijan in week 6 had 2, and Atlanta running backs had 3 touchdowns altogether in that game. In week 5, Roshan Johnson had 2, and Chicago running backs scored 3 total in that game. And Chase Brown the week before that had 2 touchdowns as well. They've allowed 13 rushing touchdowns to running backs this year. 13, okay, which is insane. No other team has allowed more than 9. 14 touchdowns to running backs if you include that 1 passing touchdown. Off the charts bad. Not only that, they are ceding touchdowns on over 70% of opponent red zone possessions as well. The only reason I might hold out on this one for a little bit is to see what odds FanDuel posts first, but I'm betting it. It's plus 550 on DraftKings. The only real threat to Williams' workload in the red zone is Bo Nix. That's it. You could bet both of these guys to score, and I wouldn't hate it, but I hate the correlated parlay odds. I already tried it, and it's not fun. That's why I went to 2 touchdowns for Williams. Listen to this. They've accounted for 85% of Denver's red zone rushing attempts, with Williams leading the way with almost 50%. Just ridiculous numbers. No one else is getting those opportunities. The whole Panthers team is out on offense, and they've got Bryce Young starting. Their defense can't stop anyone. Let's shoot our shot when it's there. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope to see you over in Discord. Say hi. Use NFL24 for 50% off. Otherwise, I'll see you back here soon for another props video in week 9. Peace.